Welcome to Straight Talk with Melody. This is a very special day for me because I get to spend a little bit of time here interviewing a very dear friend of mine, an incredible gentleman and somebody who I call my mentor, Mr. Robert Hollis. This gentleman is not only a dear friend, but probably the one person on the planet that has the biggest heart, the one who's always giving and always making everybody feel like they're the most special. Robert, thank you for spending this time with me. I'm so excited every time we get to spend time together.
Well, Melody, it's my pleasure and my honor. I know that you have been such a dear friend of not only myself but my family's for a long, long time, and so this interview has been a long time coming. So, I just love working with you, and I love helping people with you. So, you're a big-hearted person too. So that's probably why we attract to each other.
Exactly. People have always been kind of like what drives me in my life, and I think I see that in you. And even before I really got to know you, I was introduced to you, and I was listening to some of the things that you were training and things, and I really felt like we had that connection. Or I had that connection with you anyway. And then when I got to know you as a friend, it just made it that much better. And I'm so thankful God brought you in my life, because you've been in such an incredible compass in the journey that I'm going through right now, and thank you for that.
Thank you. I love saying this phrase when people say humbling things like that to me. I just say I'm just blessed to be a blessing. I just believe that God sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, puts me in just the great places to meet individuals like yourself. And again, there's no more joy in my life than I get than helping people learn how to help other people become happy and successful. So it's definitely my legacy and what I love building.
Well, you've proved that with the success that you've had and the multi-millionaire status that you've achieved, and those 45 millionaires that you've helped create. It's incredible to even think about having that kind of impact on someone's life, and I can't help to think about the countless lives that have been altered or have been touched because of what you've done, the heart, the information, the effort, everything that you pour into these people and to us to help us. And do you ever think about all of those people that, wow.
I seen a, I don't remember it. You make me not only reflect, but I sit there and I think of one thing where I seen where it was a picture of someone talking about when you throw a stone into the water, that it causes this ripple effect, and it just continues to ripple. And when I sit there and I think of some of the people that I've helped make over $1 million a year, two of them are identical twins, and the company that they have now is 23 years old. Not only is it done consistently like a $500 million a year, but last year they were one of the companies that actually grew over $100 million in 1 year. And I sit there and I think about all the people in 23 years that have gone through that company. I was with the company from 95 to 2001, and it was just, wow. I sat there and like you said, that's one of the companies that, the people that I've mentored, not only went to the top. Another one, which is recently, and Jovan Kabasic has said this straight from the stage, is that here I am building an office, and he came in and asked if he could get come in and learn from me, and the look at how many people that's touched. I mean, he not only built a big group in that company, but like you said, then that's where we met, another company called Gano Excel, and now where we are now. It's just how big that has gotten, how many people it's touched, and then the leaders of those companies end up going into other companies. I think of Armand Peugeot. I seen Jonathan Puga do an interview with him, and I think he's gone over $2 million in 1 year. And Jonathan Puga asked him, well, who was the biggest influence in your life? And he mentioned my name, and I'm going like, wow. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is pretty fun to talk to people that are 3 and 4 generations away that I haven't met, and they've heard of me. It's like, I feel like, only 52, but I feel like Yoda sometimes. I feel like, oh, so you're the guy. So yeah, it's overwhelming, but I know I got more to do. I get inspired. I get inspired by doing more and helping more people in other countries that are less fortunate. And yeah, I feel like I'm just getting started.
Well, yeah, and I just thought of this. I just thought, if it weren't for Jovan and you, my life wouldn't have never had the changes that I've had in my life. Even with my health, and now with this training and this mentoring that I'm getting from you is just incredible. I would have never met you.
Right.
It's wonderful to see how God works, and it is that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know the relationship that you and Doug have. Well, I met Doug Harkins in another company before Gano Excel. It was called Tahitian Noni. And so it is pretty amazing when you sit there and think that a lot of people that are probably watching this and will watch this, they really believe that they can have an effect on not only on their lives, but maybe even their family or their friends. And I tell people, if you can learn to change yourself, if you can learn to change the way you think and change the way you want your life to be, you can have a massive impact on a lot of people. Because let's take it one step back further. There's a guy named Sean Hennigan that was actually dating my cousin. I've never knew nothing about marketing. And when someone asked him, who do you know that's outgoing, that's really, really, positive and really, really competitive, and he thought of me. And so to think that Sean Hannigan called me and introduced me to my mentor, and this all came from that. And Sean never really made any money in marketing. He didn't know that I was going to do what I did, but I thank him in my book, and I'll thank him every time I do a presentation, because it was his boldness to say, hey, Robert, this guy is looking to expand a company, and, I want you to meet him. I really think that, he can help you. And I was like, I'd love to meet him. The rest is history.
That's awesome. But what does he think about your success now? I mean, has it influenced any of the choices that he's made in his life?
Yeah, it did. He became a little more of an entrepreneur in some of the stuff he's doing. He's actually, I believe it or not, a stand-up comedian. So, and so he was doing stand-up. He started a company that did stand-up comedian traffic school. And then I don't know what else he ended up doing. I think he ended up. I met him, when I launched my book, I did a research to find him, and I wanted to make sure that he knew that he was in the book. And when I found him again, he was actually doing like psychic readings or something like that. So he's not really an entrepreneur, but he's got that kind of personality that he just loves helping people, and so he gets a lot of great feelings, I'm sure, out of watching me continue to go out and touch others.
That's awesome. And I have to say that many times I've sat in an audience in front of you with your trainings and different things, and I've always had that thought, my gosh, if Robert ever wanted another venue for himself, another career for himself, he would make an awesome stand-up comedian, because you're just so engaging, so entertaining, and you just make things so fun.
Thank you so much. There was a dear friend of ours. I don't know if you ever met Bonnie Livingston.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bonnie. She said one time that she was going to be my agent, and every comedian's got their sort of theme, their little get her done or whatever their little phrases that made them successful, right? And she said that I could be the personal growth comedian. So I can't imagine myself in front of a bunch of people that are drinking, talking about being positive. I don't know. That might be funny.
Oh, but think about all of the things you could pull out of that audience.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. That would be crazy.
Right. And if only they would remember it the next day. I think that would be the key, right?
Yeah, very funny.
So you've had an incredible journey in your life. I mean, from being a broke auto mechanic to this great success, multimillionaire. What can you share a little bit with us what your life was as Bobby the child?
Well, I love when people read that my book. It was really, really difficult. My parents were alcoholics, really, really, really bad, and my father was so abusive. I recently went back to Williston, North Dakota, where I grew up, for a funeral of one of my favorite uncles, Uncle Donnie. He's just really, really incredible. And one of the things is when I went back there. It's still to this day, I hadn't been back for 6 years, and when I went back, wow, just not really any good thoughts or memories or feelings at all, and it got so bad that my father physically beat me and my mom up to such an extent that not only did he disappeared at the age of 13, running away from the law. They let him out on bail, but the court actually took me away from my mom. And so I grew up in foster homes, and a funny statement that I heard from a comedian about foster homes is, who is the brain person that figured out is what you do is you take a child out of a very abusive situation, and then what you do is you put them with another family that's abusive. No, I'm kidding. But most of my foster homes were that way. There was one that had a really, really good impact on me. And for you to bring that up just makes me think about the very first person that I thought went out of their way to care for me and basically give me an instructional path. I loved being that was never good in school. But I love athletics. I was really good in athletics. And I remember him telling me, his name was Ted Johnstone, he's probably no longer living, and I remember him telling me that I had to study for 1 hour in every subject my grades were below a C. And so I got to make up the decision if I wanted to do no homework or at that time 5 hours of homework. And it was amazing, Melody, how fast I got my grades above a C. It was amazing because someone took the time to care for me, give me guidance, and there was a reward that every action had an equal and opposite reaction. And so for him to do that to me, man, if he's hearing me now, thank you very much. And so, unfortunately, I was only in that home for maybe like 9 months before I went from there. But no, my childhood was really, really bad. I not to keep bringing up stuff, but I remember actually getting kicked out of the home that we had because the city condemned it. And so we ended up in the projects or whatever the assisted living places, and then I got in trouble and actually got put into the penitentiary. I thought the best way to really go out there and get friends is I threw a giant party, and of course all the people that were at the party were underage like me, so that wasn't very smart. So yeah, so not a very good childhood at all.
But think of just that little phrase, that you just said, and I want to just to have somebody that cared for you, just even for that little moment.
Yeah.
Made such a big impact in your life. And when we really want to get out of something, we find a way to do it. When we want something bad enough, we find a way to do it. And
yeah, and I never thought about it until you just said it. I'm sure I thought about it before, but it was really important that, when I finally got, my life back in order, the very first thing that I wanted to do, there was another, one of my uncles, his name was Uncle Sid, and I got to tell him during the funeral in Williston that he said to me, Robert, I just need your Bobby. I just need you to know that, the oil field is not always going to be a productive life here. He says, what you need to do is you probably need to go and expand. He said the rest of the world doesn't know you're a good mechanic, but they'll know you're a good mechanic if you get a piece of paper that says you are. And so I told him that if it wasn't for him, I would have never went to North Dakota State School of Science and got my automotive engineering, certificate. And when I got out, it made a huge difference because I met another guy that, a professor, and he said, Robert, he said, this is the only time that you're going to be book smart in mechanics, because once you leave here, it's all, hands-on experience. He said, take these ASC tests because it's a big deal in your market. So when you can say to somebody that you're a master automotive technician, it's going to give you incredible job openings that other people don't have. And that's what got me to one of my biggest first mentors, which was Roger Penske, a billionaire. So, pretty interesting. When you get in trouble, seek out a mentor, find someone that can guide you. If they're smarter than you and make more money than you and happier than you, you should listen to what they tell you.
Exactly. Yeah, I might have learned that the hard way, but I'm so glad I finally learned that.
At 52, I still go in and out. You know what I mean? I'm learning from mentors, and then all of a sudden I think I know it all.
Right. Well, from friend to friend, can you tell me if you ever get tired of people asking you to share your story?
No, I don't. I used to, but I now know that my story's not for me. It's for other people. Now I know that if my story, which I now know does, and I will tell every one of your listeners that it will for them if they just believe, I guess I could say it this way. If you've ever in your life been inspired by somebody else's story or moved by their story or motivated by their story or took action from their story, then you got to believe that it's that somebody would believe in your story. So, we all sort of look at ourselves and we go, you know what, I don't have a story really. I haven't done anything. I haven't had any hardships. And guess what? You still have a story. I remember Rick Velger, I brought him up the other day, where here was this kid that I ran into that his father told him he couldn't go to college because he came from a very wealthy family, and his whole goal was to take over their business. And so because his father wouldn't allow him to go to college, he always wanted to make money outside of what his father taught him to do. So you never know who you're inspiring. So Rick Velger's story, hey, I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth, but my father was a control freak, would always tell me that I couldn't do things, and I couldn't wait to accomplish and build my wealth outside of him. Now, that might be for a small group of people, but I can guarantee you it'll motivate that small group of people. It's like, wow, yeah, I've always had my parents take care of me, and I'm tired of that. I want to make my own path. So really, really good, really good.
Yeah, I remember as a child, my mom teaching me different lessons, and I remember saying to her, but thinking it many times, it's like, Mom, I don't want to learn from your mistakes. I want to learn from my own mistakes. And now I look back on that and I think, how foolish was that, So,
I think we all go through, unfortunately, there's some people that might watch your video that don't, I've been saying this statement a lot lately, Melody. Is stupid people don't know they're stupid, But here's another thing. People that are know-it-alls don't know they're know-it-alls. People that are angry don't know they're angry. You know what I mean? And I sat there and I thought, wow, how deep is that? So there's some people that are watching this video and will always in the future, and they already think they know it all. Of course, there's nothing in their life that would say that, but I was talking to a really dear friend of mine the other day, and he was saying, you know what, I'm documented. I'm documented. And I go, by whose standards? It's like, are you documented based on how much money you made last year? I mean, it's like, oh my God. So you're right. We all go through those stages. So in times of my life when no one could tell me anything and I wouldn't listen to anybody because I had an ego, edging God out, I did not know that I was in that bad of a place. You know what I mean? I just didn't know that I was in that bad of a place. There was people that told me not to have that party. There was going, you can't do that. You know, everyone's going to find out about it. A bunch of minors are going to show up. And if, you know, it doesn't make a difference if you're a minor. You're going to get contributed to a minor. You're going to get in trouble. And everyone's going to be mad. I'm like, shut up. You know, I'm a kid. They can't do nothing to me. Wrong.
So another learning experience,
Yes,
maybe the hard way. But back to your accomplishments, and one of those accomplishments is something that I'm thrilled that you've done, and that's your book, How Is That Working? A roadmap from rat race to freedom. You can see that I've got it all, you know, all my little bookmarks in here. I don't know if you can see that, but this is incredible for somebody to take the achievements that you've had in your life and put it in black and white. I mean, just so anybody could put their hands on it and then become a best-selling author.
Wow.
What a great achievement. And what an incredible story. And the fact that you're a best-selling author, we know that a lot of people are being affected greatly, you know, and really are given no excuse.
Right.
No excuse to achieve the dreams and the goals that they want, the lifestyle that they want for themselves. Because if you know, we have somebody to look to, that's just truly incredible. One of the most important parts of this book is where you wrote it to me, where you personalized it to me here, and I tell you, I read this every time I open the book.
Wow.
So it's just really meant a lot to me. So.
You're choking me up. Thank you.
But when it comes to, I know personal development has always been a huge part of your regiment. You know, your everyday activity.
Yes.
How long ago did that start? I mean, did it start early on in your career, or when did that start?
That's a great question, because I recently got asked that recently, and I think all the way back to when I started learning about automobiles. I just had this I don't want to say unbelievable, because it's believable, but I just had this great desire and passion to want to learn. I really, really knew early in life that when I learned something that other people didn't know, that's where I got my praise and recognition from. You know, and from somebody that grew up that was always told negative things about who they were. You know, when I did something with an automobile, or I built a motor, or I did something on a race car, or I built my own race cars, I always got this incredible praise and recognition from doing things that other people didn't know how to do. And so, of course, when I got hurt and listened to a doctor, which I'm glad I did, that said, you're not going to be an auto mechanic anymore. You're not going to be able to support your weight. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to find another line of our career. And so, of course, when I got involved in marketing, I still to this day have that incredible desire. I mean, when I see other people launch products or do things, or now this thing that I'm learning with the online, you know, all the stuff that I did there, learning technology, learning faster ways to affect people and mentor people, you know, including doing these Google Hangouts and these interviews. You know, it's like I always want to be on the cutting edge, and there's nothing, in my opinion, that other than helping someone succeed. You know, Eric Worre, you know, he just did a new video after he did his webinar, and he said, I got 8 emails and messages from people that go, wow, Eric Worre should give you credit. He's talking about texting people and then doing Google Hangouts and Skype and sending people videos. And I went, hey, you know, people come around sooner or later. But I can remember sharing that stuff with Eric 3 years ago. And he told me, well, you know, we got to stay old school. It's got to be eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. And now he just released a video today telling people to use text messages, to do Google Hangouts, and then share people links to watch videos. And I'm going like, yeah. You know, people might not have listened to me in the past, Melody, but now Eric's saying it, so maybe it's got to be true now.
It must be. It absolutely must be. So you were quoted in your book, How's That Working?
Okay.
There's no greater joy than to help another person succeed.
Correct.
And I stopped when I read that. I just absolutely had to stop reading and take that in, because when there are different people that come to you from all avenues of life, you know, with experience in business, maybe experience in network marketing, maybe none at all. Doesn't matter what type of person comes to you and gets mentored by you, and does one of them have a better advantage than another?
No. It's every nationality, every race, every sex, everything. You know, yeah, I've seen such a diversity. If someone could tell me, Robert, pinpoint a group of people that you think are more successful than others. There might be one small group, and people might disagree with me on this, but I would say women, and I would say teachers. If someone's already mentally understood their personality type enough to want to teach other people things to do to make them successful, they would have, if any, a small advantage, because they have already gotten past that thought that it's not about them, it's not about independence, it's about interdependence. So when they read things like, you know, listen, if you help enough people get what they want out of life, you'll get what you want out of life, they get that. See, they get that. Other personality traits go, well, I'll help other people as soon as I get mine. And so they don't know why they suffer. They just continue to say, well, I got to make money. I got to make money. I got to make money. And I'm going, listen, have you helped anybody ever make money? Well, no, but I can't because I got to make money. And I'm going, they got some lessons to learn.
Right. Right. So that is the I actually wrote this down, the give to get mentality.
Yeah.
Give to get mentality.
Say that again?
The give to get mentality.
Yeah.
We learn with your mentorship, and that's just, you know, coming from a heart of giving.
Correct. Where you get up each and every day and you're trying to figure out who you can connect with, real connection in far as a relationship, and how you can help them. I met a guy on Facebook today. He doesn't know me from anywhere. And we connected to him, and I said, listen, I said, well, I'd like to know more about you so I can figure out how to serve you.
Wow.
And he sent back, he goes, I have never had anyone ever say that to me.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a little better than, hey, make sure you take a look at my link and my product and my company because mine's better than yours. Yeah, it's a different approach. It seems to work for me.
That's awesome. Well, if I want to talk about success in minutes.
Okay.
Where did the whole concept come from?
Well, the whole concept came from what we've been talking about up till now. When I knew that I could get exposed to an individual that knew philosophy, principles, beliefs, ideas, skills that could allow me not only to get leverage, but also residual income for doing something one time. And then he put a system together that allowed me to basically put other people in front of him that he could mentor and teach the same time I was learning. And so when I made, you know, $258,000 my first year and $520 my second before I was 30 years old, you know, made over $1 million before I was 30, I knew that I wanted to create the same thing that he did for me for other people. And so the only reason that it didn't happen faster than it has now is that me not believing in myself. I really actually had to reach out and get some help for someone to say, well, just how much documentation do you really need before you feel that you are, quote unquote, good enough. See, that's my problem, not other people's problems. When do you feel that you're good enough to mentor other people? Like when you get 100 people that you help make $1 million a year, 1,000, you know what I mean? See, most people would look at documentation if you could help one. If you could help one person, you know, make $1 million a year and they gave you credit for it, that should be enough documentation. So it was all in me. So I've had this concept and idea from the time that my mentor taught it to me. And so, you know, when I helped another company get bigger than the company that I helped my mentor build, you know what I mean, with 2 of my students, you know, it's like, then all of a sudden when I left that company in 2001, that's when I went, you know, I got to start putting this together. And I still, believe it or not, and you know this because you've known me for a while, I even had difficulty when I first launched the company is making me the brand. See, I still wanted to make the company or the product the brand. I didn't want to make me the brand. You know what I mean? So me doing a mentorship program, so that's what Unlimited Profits is. Unlimited Profits is very simply me putting together all the mentorship, the skills, the philosophies that my mentor did for me. I want to do that for other people. So that's the whole thing. And the only twist that I had was that if I promoted my mentor, if he was still doing a training, if I promoted you, Melody, or some of your watchers to go to that training, you would pay anywhere between, you know, $2,500, $10,000 to $300 to go to one of his trainings. Now, the amount of money that I got back from that training was zero. So if I told you today to go to Tony Robbins' training or somebody else's training, see, you go to those trainings, and it could be company or non-company events, but people promote like crazy to those events, knowing that people need to be trained and knowing that they need to be trained. And I just thought, well, if people are going to promote me and my training, I want to compensate them for it. So that's as simple as it is.
That's awesome.
And watch. I say this as a prediction right now on Melody's show. I believe within the next 2 years that a majority of the trainers that train out there will allow anybody to get involved in their company for free and market their training and pay them. Watch.
We are going to watch for that, and I truly believe that that's going to happen too.
Yeah, it takes you know, you've always heard this, Melody, is that I just watched a funny commercial. I apologize for taking up a lot of the time here, but there's a commercial out there by General Electric right now, I believe, and it shows this really, 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 really ugly monster. And this ugly monster is walking around, and everybody sees it and is scared, and it's getting, you know, people are running from it. What a great time to run it during Halloween. And everybody's looking at this monster, and that monster comes in and sits down, and they're throwing it out of the cafe, and the monster goes in all these places, and people are throwing it away. And it says get close to the end of the commercial, and it says, you know what? When people first hear of an idea, no one likes it, and it looks ugly. And then all of a sudden, it showed the monster walk up to the General Electric door, and they let him in. And as soon as they let him in, then all of a sudden he walks out on stage, and the monster looked beautiful with colored feathers and everything. And they said, but when everybody believes in the idea, then it becomes beautiful. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show people that you can inspire, mentor, and help millions of people in the world, and do it as a social entrepreneurship. And the people that want to take advantage of the opportunity can, but most won't, and that's okay.
Well, and then it's no longer scary once everybody sees that, you know, when everybody sees that there's a purpose for it, there's a reason to have that there, and it's a fear. I think the fear that false evidence of appearing real.
Yep.
That keeps everybody from moving forward, even with technology. We see it all the time.
It's so true. I know that people that learn things, there's this concept, I guess, that was taught some way in our culture in marketing, especially with network marketing and MLM. There's this culture out there that, oh my God, I can't let anybody learn anything from anybody but me. And so this phrase that I've been saying to a lot of people, I even did a post today, and someone did it, and they said, I said, listen, I said, you think paying for a professional's educate knowledge is lot? It's not. It doesn't cost you as much as paying for an amateur's knowledge. So it
Wow.
said something to the point. You think professionals cost a lot of money? Think how much amateurs cost you. And I sat there and someone said underneath there, well, when you first get involved, you know, that's where you got to learn from, you know. And I said, how can someone teach you something that they haven't done? How can someone get you to go someplace they've never been? And I could tell the person didn't get it. You know, they were like, well, you know, what else am I supposed to do? And I'm going like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's this whole group of people out there that think they're going to learn new ways of thinking, to new ways of being and doing and having by just school of hard knocks. That's not the way it works. You don't walk around one day, get hit by a bolt of lightning, and go, okay, now I got it.
So can you just put in a small little nutshell here what Success in Minutes is?
Yeah, and I'm going to clear something up. Success in Minutes is really the customizable blog. It's one of the tools that Unlimited Profits provides. And so one of the things that I learned from my mentor is instead of learning to be the deal or trying to master those skills or waiting until I made money, I could learn one thing that a lot of people don't do, which is edify and promote and give somebody else the credit. Again, what you give, you get. So a lot of people always want praise and recognition, and they want a pat on the back and someone to tell they're doing good, but they won't do it to other people. And so I really got good at saying I was an auto mechanic that was broken every way, including spiritual. I ran into a guy that was extremely successful that helped other people become successful, and I wanted to introduce that person to my mentor. And I did that through a videotape. Today we have YouTubes and Google Hangouts and interviews, but we also have what is called Success in Minutes, which is a customizable blog. So this allows you to be able to share your blog that has me on there and other successful people, you know, promoting up on that blog. So you're constantly giving content and valuable information to people. So that gets them to know, like, and trust you. And when they put in their email, that goes into your contact manager. And then as you build through the rest of the tools and share the other trainings and stuff with them that Unlimited Profits has to offer, then the person can either decide to just learn for free, or they can decide to upgrade to get the advanced mentorship. We were figuring out today there's now 37 hours of professional mentorship on the pay side, the $99 side. But if someone signs up for that and shares it with others, they also get $50 a month off each person, plus they can get matching bonuses. So people can make a very fast full-time income by becoming a member of Unlimited Profits and promoting Success in Minutes. So I hope that was a good overview.
Excellent. And I have to tell you, it's those check matchings that get you really excited.
Yeah, yeah, and we got some other things coming in November that's really going to flip some people out. So we got enough numbers now where we know what the company's making and what the reps are making. A lot of people can't understand how you can do 100% matching on bringing in a leader and that leader and helping that person succeed. And every time they make 50, you make 50. People go, well, there's not any money paid out. And I go, well, that's my problem, not your problem, as long as I can keep paying people. And so, believe it or not, with that model, because a lot of people won't go to 4, you're probably hearing this first, so people will probably get excited. But, you know, we're going to drop that down to 3. You need to get 3 to get your match. And so I let something out of the bag that only people get to see on Melody's interview. And plus, we're going to figure out a way for if people help other people deeper in their group, that they also get a percentage of all the pros that are within their team. So it's going to be fun.
So helping people actually pays.
Yes.
Go figure. Go figure. Well, I just want to touch a little bit. Oh, I do have another question or two.
Okay.
I've recently heard by Marnar last night of speaking about Success in Minutes, calling it an entrepreneurship with ministry.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, what it means is a lot of opportunities make you pay to get in. It's just that simple. And so for the watchers that are watching this, a lot of people are going, okay, you got to pay money. So, you got to pay to make money. And now there's a shift called social entrepreneurship that Google, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, all of these companies now are multi-billion-dollar corporations, and I didn't mention the old ones like Yahoo, you know what I mean, MSN. And what do these companies do? They offer an ability for all of us to go try it out for free. I've never ever sent a check to Facebook for a membership. And so a lot of the ministries out there now are starting to really look at affiliate programs like ours because they go, okay, if I shared this with 200,000 people, what do they got to pay for the training? Nothing. I didn't hear you right. How much? Nothing. So how much do they get for nothing? Hundreds of hours of training? On what? To teach them how to make money online. So if a person shares that info, do they get paid? Yeah. Okay, see, so right away, ministries and people with nonprofits don't hear the stuff they hear with other marketing companies. Where, okay, Melody, you can use this as a nonprofit. What you first got to do is you got to get in for $100 or $200 or $300. And then you got to build a group where you got to have a person on this side and this side that also come in with money. And then we're going to build volume underneath those people, and we got to do, we got to balance it perfect, to make sure we get paid, but we're only paying you on half of it. See what I mean? You don't have to say this stuff that's all coded for ministries anymore. You say, hey, share your link. Everyone gets in for free. The ones that want to take a higher step can, but people can get in and promote the free stuff and make money. So as you know, the new mentorship program that we have, and that's why we keep changing it, there's 27 hours of mentorship in there that a free person in our company can share with somebody else, and when they buy that for $297, that free person gets a check for $60.
Nice.
Now, if they were a pro, they would make $150. So they might be incentivized to upgrade before the check comes out. But what if they can't do it? See, so Melody, I've been involved in network marketing and direct sales for 27 years, and I've run into tens of thousands of people that looked at me right in the face and said, you don't know how much I need money. I got to cover rent. I got to pay. I got to put food on the table. I got to pay my car payment. And you're saying that if I get into this company, I can make money, but I just don't have the money to get in. So now we took that away. Listen, get in for free. Share this link with everybody. Let's make you some money. Okay. So that's why Amazon. That's why Amazon, makes $77 billion a year. It doesn't cost any money to be an affiliate with Amazon or Walmart or Unlimited Profits. So.
That's great. And it's so exciting. It just gives hope to so many people that just feel like they don't have the money to do anything to make money. You don't have to have money to make money. And that's, I think, one of the strongest attributes here that we that we're offering. How many people are with Unlimited Profits now?
We just went over, we're almost at 88,000 affiliates, and virtually almost in every country. It'd be easier for us to put a list of countries that we're not in.
That's great. That's so awesome. And so anybody in any country can make money here, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, the only thing that we have is there's certain countries where it's funny when you run into a motivated person. Here's the only question that you say to them: is you got to say, if someone like me from the United States was going to send you money, how could I do it? And if you were going to send money to me, how do you do it? See, the people in every one of those countries know the answer to those two questions. If they don't, they can find it. And so if they know that, then that puts them in a position where we can figure out how to send money to them when they earn it, and they also can figure if they want to upgrade how to send money to us. So that's another reason that we made that little shift that allows people everywhere in the world not to have to put money in to promote our company to make money.
That's awesome. So, wow. Okay. I want to talk about your beautiful family.
Okay.
just a little bit. We're going to finish up here. You're very blessed. I mean, you've got a beautiful wife, three beautiful boys, talented and gifted. Just you are very blessed in that aspect. Is there ever any time where they might wish that you weren't such a public figure?
See, I would be answering for them. You know what I mean?
But you know, kids will let you know if they're not happy with something, or it's like, why can't it be different? I mean, you know, the kids are never going to hold back.
Well, I respect who they are and what they like so much that I really don't force anything upon them. I know that one time in a company recently, they all came out just for an award that I won, and so they all showed up, and then of course, you know, Robert Hollis Jr., he was working with me in that company. But my two younger sons and my wife, seeing how big of a deal the company made about me and giving me that award, the top award in the company, they were pretty blown away. And but the only negative that I heard is, you know, my God, why would anybody want to take a bunch of pictures with me? You know, just because I'm related to you, or you're you know. And so still Terry and my other two younger sons, Matthew and Kyle, they're not so much with the large crowds and everybody making a big deal out of them because they don't know who they are. You know what I mean? So I guess that's a little, you know, I can't imagine what some big celebrities go through, because their children are probably the same way, or their spouses the same way. But, you know, I'm not that big, but still, you know, I've been in situations where, you know, like Eric Worre's event this year will be over 8,000 people there. And after I speak, they always make us get to a position where we all take pictures. And I think I was there almost for 4 hours last year. You know
Wow.
what I mean? So it's hard to believe that people would stand in line that long to get their picture taken with you. It's pretty weird. So I have a feeling that my sons and my wife will probably say, we'll see you up in the hotel room. See you later. So it's going to be fun seeing you and Doug there, Melody. It's going to be fun.
I'm so excited. I really am. You know, we recently got to spend time with Robert Hollis Jr. and the beautiful Amy and Ryder. And
Yeah.
you know, I just had to, you know, take a bunch of pictures of Ryder. I was just going nuts.
Super jealous. Super jealous.
Yeah, that little boy just melts your heart. But what a happy disposition he has, and I totally, if he could giggle, I mean, like out loud and really let a big giggle out, I think he would giggle the same as you.
That's what people have been telling me. I'd be like, wow, you know, but he's getting close, man. It's the biggest blessing I have as a grandpa right now is that I guess when he gets ready for his bath time is usually when I'm doing some of my mentorship shows and my, you know, my pro shows for mentoring. And I guess when, you know, Ryder gets in front of the computer and sees Grandpa talking, it just, yeah, he doesn't fuss or nothing. He just sits there and watches this crazy funny guy, you know, share with the world. So it's pretty fun to do that.
You know, still a little one, but he's already in training. He's already in training. He has.
This will be a good sort of a social experiment that we're not doing on purpose. It's going to be neat to see how much he gets the psychology and the mentality as he's growing up as a toddler. You know what I mean? It's like,
you know, that might be a whole other business for you to do, is just, you know, baby entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
People want to put their babies in front of you.
Yeah, you know, and I know that people probably heard me say this on one of our trainings, but there's a YouTube channel where the lady makes over $5 million a year. They now say she makes more. And all she does, Melody, is open up the newest Disney toy. And as she's opening it up, she never shows her face. So she allows the camera to show her the toy. She opens up the toy while she's talking, and she talks about every piece that's in the Disney package. And they said that there's a certain age when kids won't pay attention to movies. You know, they're not entertained by Sesame Street or Barney or any of that stuff. They don't have the attention span yet. So it's at that toddler age before they get that attention span to play with an iPad or whatever, and they're just fascinated by this lady opening up Disney toys. So she said that the biggest claim to fame that she has right now, is people let the YouTube channels calm down their toddlers. And it might be a combination of the toy opening up and seeing the colors and hearing her voice, but this lady makes over $5 million a year by doing YouTube channels by opening up Disney toys.
And nobody knows who she is.
Nobody knows who she is.
Nobody has seen her face.
If you wanted to look up the channel, it's Disney Collector. 2 different words. So go to YouTube and put in Disney Collector.
I will do that. Well, Robert, I want to thank you so much for giving so much of your time to me here. I always enjoy sitting with you and getting all these little gems from you, even, you know, when we're on the phone or during a webinar or any time. There's always something that I need to write down. And you make the simplest statement have such a huge impact.
Wow.
And you really get me thinking, just the simplest thing. And I've gotten to the point now where, you know, I told you the other day, I listen to your training first thing in the morning. You know, I hear your voice. I many times fall asleep listening to your voice, having something on. And so I have gotten to the point where I can ask a question to myself out loud, and, you know, it's like, oh, I got to ask Robert this. And if I say it out loud, I can literally hear your voice answering that question.
Wow.
And you know, so then I kind of hesitate in bringing it up to you or like calling you right away or whatever, but it's that whole mindset thing that I've been able to kind of grab hold of, and I'm getting it, you know, and I'm just going to keep getting it, and yeah. I just love you to death for it. I just, for us, and for making each one of us feel like we're the most important person in your life, and it's an incredible gift, and you truly, truly are a great example of God's love. Wow.
Well, Melody, it's you saying stuff like that. You saying stuff like that is why I do what I do. I just I know people have the ability and the gift within themselves to be happy, and that happiness truly comes by learning how to help other people. We always try to fill that hole with some kind of, you know, thing or event or object. You know, if I only got a new car, I'd be happy. If I only, you know, got a new, you know, home, I'd be happy. And people are always trying to fill that hole with something else other than being a servant of other people. And so me, I just, you know, I just tell people all the time that, you know, when my time's no longer here, you know, I just want to hear the voice of my Creator saying, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done.
That's wonderful.
So that's what I work toward every day. So.
And on a last note, I'm going to forward you an email that I received from one of our newest pros, Richard, who you just recently spoke with. We just did a Google Hangout with him. And he sent me an email. It's quite lengthy. But in that email, he told me why he wants to engage with Success in Minutes and his belief in it and all of that. And one of the things that he said, and I was just sobbing reading this email.
Wow.
So, but one of the things he said is he wants to be present in his boys' life. He doesn't want them to remember him just always working or sleeping because he's always working.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has this hope and something to work towards, to be able to achieve that because of you is truly amazing. Thank you.
Well, again, I watch you. I watch you duplicating, and I'll tell you what. I just cannot. You know, you took the time and the patience and the love to consistently to support Scott Kloster, and to see the kind of human being that Scott Kloster is turning into. There's no way Scott would be here if it wasn't for you, Melody. So, to see you having that kind of effect on people is really, truly what it's all about.
Well, I'm trying to let your awesomeness fall upon me and duplicate what you're doing. So,
Well,
I love you.
I'm just going to help you take your own awesomeness and just make it brighter.
Okay, we'll just add a little pink color to it. But yeah, love you so much. Thank you so very, very much for this time, and I will be talking to you soon.
Well, everyone, there's got to be some kind of link around here someplace where you can get back a hold of Melody and get connected with her. She's there to help you without a shadow of a doubt. And you know, through Melody, I'm looking forward to being able to work with you and her to make your dreams come true. Because you know, just without a shadow of a doubt, if other people have done this and I've done it, so can you. So take care and God bless. I love you.
Love you.